Hello everyone, I am Angel. Welcome to my channel. Given that we are facing this coronavirus pandemic, I remembered I had got a novel about 15 years ago, The Plague, published in 1947 by French author Albert Camus. Divided in 5 parts, this novel tells the story of how the city of Oran, a Mediterranean city of 200,000 inhabitants in French Algeria, is suddenly overwhelmed by a plague, supposedly cholera. Dr. Bernard Rieux, the main character, leaves his room in a block of apartments when he sees a dead rat. The concierge was convinced it was not possible since there were simply no rats in the building. Soon more and more people reported the high amounts of agonizing rats which appeared all over the city. Figures start to grow, but then an apparent decrease occurs. The concierge dies, unfortunately, after fevers and abscesses. Not wanting to be a hero or a saint, Dr. Rieux attempts to help, given his vocation and profession. Jean Tarou, another character, has the initiative to start a group of volunteers as he considers it is a moral duty. Raymond Rambert, despite attempting to leave the city, decides to help in the end. Joseph Grand, a government official hardly paid, dreams of becoming a writer, but he fails at choosing the right words. He also helps fight the plague, catches it, but recovers eventually. Cotard is a man who tries to commit suicide and sadly ends up losing his mind and being arrested. In a way or another, these men do what they can to stop the plague from spreading. As I'm confined at home following the 28-day mandatory social isolation ordered by President Vizcarra here in Peru, this is my second attempt to read this novel, and I could not help thinking of the striking similarities with the current situation in Peru, if not worldwide. For example, in a few days there were so many cases it became an epidemic. The authorities do not want to call it by its name so as not to spread panic. There have been so many plagues and wars, and yet they always catch people off guard. The people believed it was just an uncomfortable temporary accident. The people saw themselves as vacationers. Government officials could know little or nothing about plagues. More exceptional measures had to be taken. Curfew. The sick died far from their families and ceremonial wakes were prohibited. Unemployment. The plague reached everybody. Price speculation. The density of this novel is evidenced in many reflections. For instance, human attitude, egoism, romantic relationships dying of boredom and routine. After a while, those who were interested and worried stopped thinking about the plague, indifference. The philosophy, existentialism reflected in this statement, fighting the plague, not kneeling. Jean Tarou stating that these deaths are necessary so as to reach a world where nobody is killed, a phenomenon purely moral, etc. The conflict, reason versus faith, science versus religion, health versus salvation, action versus fatalism, which again is a feature of existentialism, despite Monsieur Camus rejecting this label. Exile at home, accepting our condition as prisoners. The plague, like abstraction, was monotonous, it says on page 87. One of the saddest scenes is Monsieur Authensan's death, despite the serum being tested, full in detail as no other part of this novel, preceded by the symptoms and the very process of this disease. This, again, is a chance for the author to make us reflect, in the voice of Father Penelou, on the idea of accepting the fate God has for us, that the suffering of a child is our bitter bread which prevents us from spiritual starvation. At 19th, these novels seemed rather tedious and too dense, with much more reflection than narration. Now that I am 33 years old, I still believe that, but this is a mandatory reading, of course. After all, philosophy and abstraction are necessary, aren't they? So my score is 4 out of 5. I really recommend reading this book, especially in a period like this one. However, if you are not fond of so much density and abstraction, perhaps this book is not for you. Read it, give it a try. Perhaps you will get it, as in my case, at the second attempt, but you will read it in the end. Bye bye.